Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday night. How are you and you and you? Thanks for joining us. Show number 2. That's right. We were just on, I'd say only maybe a little over an hour ago. And we had a terrific buddy and a friend of ours here on the show, singer and songwriter with the High Kings, great musician Darren Holden, who is live from Dublin, Ireland. And we had a great conversation. He performed live for us several songs. We went to some cool music videos. We had lots of Irish crack, as they say, and lots of levity. And we caught up. He and I have known each other for such a long time. Have interviewed him on American television. If you missed that episode, it was earlier today on our YouTube channel, and it was really awesome. And he was so happy to be here, and we were really happy to have him here. And matter of fact, he knows our guest who's on tonight, another brilliant singer and songwriter and musician. The wonderful Ashley Davis is with us live and direct from beautiful Kansas, USA. She's with the Ashley Davis Band. And if you have heard her soulful music, you're going to love hearing more of it tonight. You know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're going to be introduced to a fantastic new artist joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live. I am your host, Jim Masters. I'm a television and radio personality, presenter, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC, narrator, voiceover artist. We started this show some almost 40 weeks ago as an entertainment lifestyle talk show series, not a podcast or a stream, really like a television show born out of my work in the TV and radio industry, broadcast industry. This show is all about entertainment, light, levity, love, inspiration. We have guests from science and health, wellness, food, culinary arts, comedy, sports, authors, guests from music and film, television, as well as Broadway, Hollywood, international guests as well, and viewers who call themselves the Lovities. That's because I say the show is about light, love, and levity, and I sort of fouled up and slipped up and said levity. All the viewers fell in love with the word. The guests fell in love with the word. I kind of like the word as well. And they call me Mr. Levity. They call this Levity Hall. And all the viewers are the Lovities. Very special and unique, this show, because we're bringing back the lost art of conversation. Some of the old school ways that talk shows were done, where you have good conversation and viewer interaction, and you go on location and you do special features and segments. And then you have great guests who come from all walks of life. Not the same old, same old. Every show is different, something unique. And this weekend, we are really, really busy because we had 2 shows yesterday. We had Sir James Galway and Lady Jean Galway, brilliant flautists from Switzerland, actually, from their beautiful home in Switzerland. Then we had J. Robert Spencer, Bobby Spencer, brilliant actor, Tony-nominated actor and singer who was with us last night. He starred in Jersey Boys and Next to Normal and much, much more. Today, Ashley Davis is joining us. And tomorrow, Orla Fallon, who used to be with Celtic Woman, brilliant harpist and singer and performer, with us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Michael Landra is with us tomorrow night, and another incredible Emmy-winning artist as well. And then Luke McMaster is with us on Monday, Canadian singer and songwriter extraordinaire. We welcome all of you. We toast all of you as well. We've got our mug here. May your days be merry and bright. We wish you the best of the holidays. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful and bright 2020 for us all, and a much better one in so many different respects. That's tasty. Your friend is here. All the cast of characters are here Saturday night. George Burns is here with his cigar. He's ready to go. For all of you Lovities who were with us in the matinee episode, I feel like I'm a theater. We have a matinee shows and evening shows. We were only going to do these shows. Well, we were going to do them every day, but not 2 a day. And they were only supposed to be an hour, and we blew out of that months and months and many moons ago. How is everybody? We welcome you, and we toast all of you as well. Again, our very special guest, Ashley Davis. She is live and direct from Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas, actually. And she's going to be joining us in just a second. We're so excited to have her here. And we welcome everybody. If you have any questions, Ashley said, if you have any questions, feel free to post them. If you have questions for Ashley, she's here. We can answer them. And let's take a look at some of the quick comments coming in here from our Levity audience. We love the comments. Here we go again. Hi, Jim and Lovities. Yes, Willie in the Netherlands and Holland was with us for our early afternoon episode. Thanks for joining us in our evening episode as well. And you've got your tulips there. Show number 2. Nice to see you, Willie. Bernadette, back for show number 2 as well. You're going to love the show. Lots of music, lots of great conversation coming up as well. Maureen is here. Hi, Willie and Bernadette. And to all the lovelies here for show number 2, thank you, Jim, for working so hard to keep us entertained. My pleasure. My pleasure. Kathleen is back as well. My dear friend, Kathleen Walker. I mentioned it a couple of times. She and I were on the Rachel Ray show together, which is really cool. And I hope we get a chance to do more fun stuff like that again, my friend Kathleen. Hi, Jim. Long time no see. LOL. I know it's been about, an hour? Did you have a quick dinner like me? We had chicken and rice, and I had to eat it mighty fast. But, working in this industry and TV and radio and everything where things move fast, it's not the first time I had to eat dinner fast. And I'm sure Ashley will tell you, on tour and working in the studio and everything, I'm sure there's many times she's had to, wolf something down quick and then get on stage, whatever you got to do. We should get a room here, ladies, because you're all back for show number 2. I love that. That's funny. Good plan. We can call it Lovity Suite. That's very, very cool. Welcome, welcome. We are all in love with Jim. Wow. Oh my God. Can I print that one out and put it on all the billboards on the highway? That would be fantastic. Willie, thank you very much. And Bernadette, I'm being silly, Jim. Don't be scared. No. We're not scared. Not at all. It's all lovely here. Hello from Minnesota, Ruth. Welcome. Good to have you with us. Let me tell you, and keep the comments coming, the posts and all the lovely. We've got a great Saturday night together joining us here on the show with a very special guest. I'm very excited to welcome her to the show, and she's really, really extraordinary at what she does. Let me tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to welcome her direct to the show. Now, here's what you do. Think Joni Mitchell meets contemporary Celtic, and you'll get something like the creative force of Ashley Davis, an American singer-songwriter whose voice drifts over the Great Plains, north to New York City, and across the Atlantic. And while this mashup may classify her work, Ashley's unique ability to capture and cross musical traditions ultimately transcends comparison. Ashley's soft-spoken music conjures a genre and a world all of its own. Good Morning America, for instance, describes the Ashley Davis Band as new music springing from ancient roots. And that's exactly what I told her I was feeling when listening to the music. It's got both qualities, kind of like our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. It's got these modern new vibes of today with those old school roots. And I love that blend. And she's doing that with the music. It's a culmination of the many influences that have inspired her over the years. Ashley's songwriting has captivated audiences on either side of the Atlantic and has invited them instinctively to dream. Ashley has excelled in Celtic folk, Americana, even electronic, really proving she can turn any musical style into a spell-binding story. And that is really just the short list. Philip Glass, the composer, says Ashley Davis is a young woman with a beautiful voice and as much musicality as anyone could wish for. And on top of that, she writes and sings with confidence that is way beyond her years. And that is an extraordinary compliment. And again, it's a true testament to the person that she is. And we're excited to welcome her live and direct again from Kansas. Won't you welcome our very special guest for, again, show number 2 here on the Jim Masters Show Live, Ashley Davis with her guitar. She's in her new studio that she's putting the finishing touches on as well. Ashley, happy holidays and welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live, my friend.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here.
Good to see you as well. The Lovities are going to swarm you, as I mentioned, with all the welcomes and all the lovity, which we love that they do here on the show. And here's a couple of comments already, Ashley, welcoming you. William Hollins says, welcome, Ashley, for the Jim Master Show. Today, only ladies. Ha ha, fun. So far, yes. Ruth is saying hello from Minnesota. And let's talk about where you're at right now. You're in your new studio that's sort of, you were telling me you're doing sort of the finishing touches on, right? That's exciting.
Yeah, the paint just was finished yesterday and the floor was laid the day before. And so it's this kind of amazing. I'll give you guys the first tour. I'll just move around so you all can see it a little bit here. So it's this one big kind of open space that you can see all around through here. And then I've got like a little vocal booth then that goes in here. That's my new closet. And then there's like a bathroom that kind of is over there to the side. But it's kind of one long hall that we just knocked the walls on the third floor out of and created the studio. So I was recording even before you guys invited me into your show. So
that is beautiful. That's a great spot that you've got there. So is that like upstairs? Is that elevator or is that down or?
It's the third floor of like an old kind of A-frame farmhouse type house that's very common out here. And so the third floor, I think it had been used prior like as like an old bachelor's apartment maybe because there was plumbing and everything up here. But like, you know, like a 1920s one. This house was built in 1900. And so it had, you know, like old linoleum floors and things like that. And beautiful hardwood underneath the linoleum, but they'd used asbestos to glue the linoleum, you know. So
yeah,
we went over the linoleum and the asbestos with new floors. So, but I'm really excited to move in here and get creating in this new space. So, yeah.
Bernadette welcomes you to Lovety Hall, and Maureen welcomes you as well. Welcome, Ashley, all watching on the YouTube channel as well. You know, those are some great comments that folks have been saying about your music. How did you first get started in all this? I mean, early on for you, Ashley, what were some of those early, you know, inspirations in your life? Do you come from a musical family? Where did you get inspired early on as a youth?
Well, that's kind of the funny thing. My parents call me a genetic mutation because there's like, there isn't any in our family, musicians, that is. My mom did run the Performing Arts Center for the University of Kansas here. So I had constant influences coming through from all over the world, from theater, dance, musicians. That's how Philip Glass knows me, because my mom booked one of his very first creations when he was about my age at that time. And so he knew me as like even a little kid who would sit on, you know, his lap when he would come through town. So I had that influence. And then my father was a huge music lover. So we had a ton of 60s folk music in the house and opera. And so a wide range of influences. And then growing up in Kansas, I was surrounded by a roots music scene. There's a lot of old time music, a lot of bluegrass in my area. And so there was a wonderful music store that was in town here at that point that every Saturday and Sunday would have like jams out on the porch, and the local musicians would come and have a session together. And so when I was old enough, I started to show up at those. And then I started singing at some of the like honky tonks that were still in existence around here, so the old dance halls. And so by the time I was 14, I was gigging, you know, country and contemporary country. So, well, I mean, when I'd sit in with the old bands, I would do classic stuff, you know, Patsy Cline and Hank Williams and all that sort of thing. But then when I started playing like regional operas and things like that, then I was doing all the contemporary country stuff. And then strangely, when I was 18, I moved to Nashville to focus on my career and further it. And then I began writing music when I moved there. And I wrote in this very kind of world music style. I didn't write very well in the country vein at that point at 18 years old. It's strange to say, but you have to, I have found, at least personally, that you have to become a pretty experienced songwriter to write with a beautiful simplicity. And that I think is more that genre. And what's funny is a lot of people make fun of country music and roots music and things like that, but it's actually, I feel like for someone like me, it was a lot harder to write with that sort of, I don't know, just that simplicity and that clarity that just hit home immediately. I sort of had more to say in my 20s, when I was trying to write this genre. And so going into the sort of Celtic world music genre gave me a little bit more space to write and to have sort of the poetry, that I wanted to use and the pastoral nature of the things I wanted to say. And then as I got older and more experienced as a songwriter, like that electronic album that I wrote, that's straight up pop that I wrote. And so I was able to finally kind of come back and do it that way. And so it's been fun to experiment in the different genres, and not be tied to one because I didn't come from this lineage of Irish music households like a lot of the people that you talk to. I didn't have any of those restrictions or barriers or expectations about my music. I was never going to be accepted as a traditional Irish singer, even though I went and did my master's in Ireland in traditional Irish singing and all of that. But I was under no illusions that, a kid from Kansas who doesn't have the pedigree was going to be, accepted that way. And that
you weren't born with a fiddle in your hand.
Or a particular last name, or, speaking Irish as my first language. And so I recognized that more as a blessing later on because I wasn't having to kind of follow any rules or protocol with what I was putting out. So that's why whatever music my genre falls into kind of crosses various genres, because it's pulling from a lot of them.
So growing up, what was some of the music that you enjoyed listening to? Who are some of the people that inspired you along the way?
I think growing up, I was mainly focusing vocally at that point, in my teen years. And so I was always really attracted to the big voices. And, again, until I discovered contemporary country music, I was really like pulling from my dad's stuff. So like Linda Ronstadt and Patsy Cline. So real crooners, like people who really sang and used their breath a lot and really could belt music. And that was like my voice. I mean, I had like a blasting, like Grace Slick kind of voice in my teen years that could really, really belt. I joke about that all the time. I was like, I don't know if I can sing that stuff anymore. I mean, it would take me some like training up to get back to some of that stuff I sang, to be honest.
Sure.
But it was an amazing, and when I do workshops or work with people, singers, the thing that I emphasize the most, I think is the most important, is to sing, to move your voice through lots of different genres, because it trains it to move in all these various ways, and it trains you to phrase in various ways. Like sing Sinatra, because you'll come at things in a different way, than if you're singing just like traditional folk music, you're always going to come at something fairly in a similar way, and so as a singer. And so that's why I loved having tons of different influences in singing. And then when I got into like contemporary country, like, I loved, again, the big voices, like Patti Loveless and, the old school people like Loretta Lynn. And and I don't even know if people, I know they can sometimes hear the Patsy Cline influence in my singing, like on the Christmas album that I did, when it's pretty much all torch songs, but I don't know, it's interesting because, musicians ask me if I have a jazz background because of the way that I phrase, but it's really, a lot of it's from that old, like 40s stuff, 40s and 50s stuff that I would have studied and really been into, because Patsy was covering all those old big band pieces all the time with her music. And I knew all of her stuff. And so was Ronstadt, she covered all that stuff too. So I was popular at my grandfather's rest home because I knew a lot of those songs.
Yeah, right.
Entertained the groups with those.
Exactly. Which is kind of cool because some of those standards, they're still around, which is kind of amazing, right?
Amazing stuff too.
They're still around. So, as you were going along and things were progressing for you, Ashley, what were some of those pivotal moments in your career that sort of pointed you in the right direction and sort of like started opening up the opportunities and the doors and these wonderful experiences. What would you consider early on some of those key moments in your musical journey that were very important trigger moments spurring you on forward?
I would say, I mean, the first one is I'm 18, leaving Kansas, and I'm moving to Nashville. And literally, as I was packing my bags, I was introduced to, I'd saved up my money all summer to buy a stereo for my dorm room. And the first CD that I got for this stereo was Connie Dover, who's a beautiful, I don't know if you know Connie's stuff or not, but
Sure.
a beautiful singer from this area. And I put it on, and it was the album Somebody, and Somebody was the first track on it. And not only had she taken a traditional melody, she had rewritten the lyrics by taking an old code song from Scotland. So she had done all these cool things with it that were very intellectual, very interesting. But then in the way she phrased and the way her voice made me feel when I listened to her, that became kind of my goal at that moment. I was like, I want to make people feel the way that she makes me feel when I listen to her sing. And I, even during COVID, I realized that that's still really what I try and do with my music is transcend, help people transcend to a different place and heal people with music. And that I really do music for other people. I don't really do it for myself. I don't sit around and sing to myself. I don't really sit around and play that much except to practice or to write. I do it as, I have a friend who's a nun, and she said, it's your ministry, and I really liked that comment because it helped me understand like my goals and my drive, within the music that I do. So I'd say that was a massive turning point for me because it also moves me in an entirely different direction genre-wise because I'm singing country music and moving to Nashville. And like the day before I moved to Nashville, all of a sudden this light comes on and I realize I'm probably going to end up in a different genre.
So when you were there in Nashville, what was the plan? What was the goal? Did you want to be a solo artist? Did you want to be part of a group? Did you want to be a session singer? Or did you just want to get to Nashville and dip your feet in and see where everything takes you?
Well, I went to Belmont University, which is a big school for music, especially roots or country. And they're sort of the feeder for the industry, whether it's on the business side or the performance side.
Right.
And I was there in a time like that. I mean, Trisha Yearwood's a bit older than me, but she had graduated from there, and so she had made it like very popular. And Brad Paisley was a senior when I was a freshman coming in. And so I remember like going to one of Brad's band practices, and my roommate was trying to set me up with him. I mean, it's kind of crazy, like, because so many people now that were my classmates are like my best friend from there is Carrie Underwood's guitar player. Like one of my other really good friends is Jason Aldean's like piano player. And so I really watched this work, like this university truly feed the industry. And they ask you that question even, when you're sitting in, I don't even remember like which music business class, but they say, describe what it is that you want to do, what you want to be seen as within the music industry. And I remember, and it was a class of like 40 people. And I remember sitting there and I said, I really want to be kind of a buried treasure in a niche genre and really heal people with my music and write really intelligent, good music and just continually put out good product. And I was saying this at like, I don't know, 19 or 20 years old. And the funny part of the story is that, so it's like working through the rows and you get to the back row and this girl named Hillary, it gets to her and she starts crying. And she said, I listened to Ashley, and she's like got it all planned out, and she can see her future, and I just put in an application at Chili's, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and blah blah blah. Well, Hillary now has written more #1 hits for Carrie Underwood than any writer, and is sitting very, very well. So every time I see Hillary's name, I love it, because I think of that moment of like knowing that Hillary would be fine, you know, looking back at her and going, you're going to be fine, because she was just so open and wonderful, you know, as a person, that there was no way she couldn't succeed. And I knew she was a good writer, you know, too. So there's just wonderful moments like that all the time in Nashville and at Belmont, where you would just see sort of the growth about to happen with somebody. But it was strange. I kind of knew what it was I wanted to do. I didn't care about extreme fame, kind of terrified of it, actually. And like just wanted my music to get out. You know, that's just the main thing, just to get out there and make enough of a living at it. And, you know, happy to say I've been able to do that. So, and keep my own vision about the music and not have to stray from that.
How did the band get formed, Ashley Davis Band? How did that all happen?
Kind of years of experimenting, you know, as a solo artist, you're sort of constantly hiring different people, and different people are moving around and living in different areas. And then more people move over from Ireland, and then you would get to work with them more because they're in the States, because this is where I mainly am touring. And so it just happened that about 3 or 4 years ago, I had a particular group of guys who were with me at a festival, and it just really, really clicked. And off stage too, that we just had the best time together. And so I just basically started to try, and when gigs would come up, hire from those 4 guys, you know, and always have them around as much as I could. So that's basically how it happened. I mean, there's, you know, other ones who have been in the band too, who didn't end up on this album, a lot because of COVID, you know, and just recording restrictions and that sort of thing. But this album that we did in COVID was the first time we did a band album. It had always been just a solo album that, you know, I might call up, say, Colin, and say, hey, can you throw a fiddle part on this, or a whistle part on this, or that sort of thing. But this was the first time that it was like, you know, we're going to do this together. We're going to do this as a band and put this album out together. So.
How'd you hook up with Colin Farrell? I mean, obviously he's well known as well. That's you know, to blend in together is awesome.
I can't even remember I would have known Colin like in the gig scene, the festival scene. I would have known him through Lunasa, who I was already like buddies with a few of those guys. And then Colin also had played with the Elders in Kansas City. And so I would see him at Kansas City Irish Fest and, you know, have some drinks and whatever afterwards. And I can't even remember what the first gig that he was on, but we just not only clicked off stage, but on stage, he just became kind of a natural co-MC with me. Mm. And Colin is like brilliant on stage for chatting to the audience. And he's very, you know, he's very much an entertainer, also very witty. And so, you know, it's great because it's this sort of yin yang balance of like me maybe describing something very seriously as to where it's been written from, and then him making fun of me, you know, so you get both aspects of it. He makes fun of me a lot on stage, you know, and it's all in good fun and hilarious. But so, yeah, he's definitely a huge leader, you know, within the band.
That's fantastic. So when the band was formed, what was the vision? What were you thinking? What did you want the band to actually be, Ashley?
Well, you know, honestly, I would say the vision really came in around this album that we just did, because prior to that, it was like, all right, we're doing these songs off of this album, this songs off of this album, and stuff that they had never played on, right? So it was like they were coming up with their own parts for stuff that I had already recorded. But this time, within COVID, we actually got to sit down and say, all right, what is our sound? What is it that we're going to put out as the Ashley Davis Band? And so we kind of didn't know until we did the very first track. And then I was like, oh, that's it right there, you know? And so then we used that first track as sort of a blueprint then for the rest of the album. And I made sure that all of them wrote with me so that they were coming on that part of the journey too, as co-writers and people who were really, because I'm so behind the writing of it, and it's so important to me, the writing aspect of it, especially in the Celtic genre, because so much of our genre is beautiful old songs being reimagined, reworked, which is amazing. But I really feel like the canon of those songs needs to continue to be fed. And there's some incredible writers within this genre. And I'm happy to get to co-write with a lot of them. So that was an important aspect of it. So the goal of this album was to show the versatility in all of them play a gazillion instruments, first of all. So showing that versatility within the band, and then also showing their writing ability, because they're all really good writers too.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. We have something really cool here, which is actually a clip. This is from 2018, and you guys was it China where you were?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is amazing. What was that experience like?
That was really fun. I had played that festival one other time with a totally different formation. And this time, the band, I had more of my band structure, and they gave me a call maybe like 3 weeks before it was even happening. And you have to do crazy visa work and all that. But I called up those three and I said, do you guys want to do this? And they were like, oh yeah. So we jumped on it, and it was like absolutely rock star kind of, weekend, because I think we landed on a Friday night, we landed on Saturday night, had Sunday off, on stage Monday night, on a plane by 3:30 a.m. after that. So we were in China for 3 days, and it takes 2 days essentially to get there. So it was wild, but a blast. And from the clip, you'll see also it was raining. It was 100,000 people standing out there.
That is incredible. I mean, and you're still doing it through the rain and everything, right? It's like reminds me of that Dinah Ross concert that she did in '83 in Central Park, where it was pouring rain and she just continued and continued and continued. Sometimes that's what happens. Unless there's lightning, then you sort of pull in the reins, literally. The Ashley Davis Band, this is in China. We're going to take a look at this clip, folks. You're going to absolutely love it. And then we have much more coming up. We've got some more video. Ashley's also going to play for us as well. So thanks for joining us on a Saturday night all around the world, everybody, on the Jim Master Show Live. Here is Ashley Davis and the band live in China.
much. Good night. Enjoy the festival.
That was really cool, huh?
Our translator took that video. She went out into the audience and grabbed that for us. And I'm so glad she did, because you get to really kind of capture the feeling of that night, you know?
That's really amazing. And again, you got a chance to do that. And look at the comments coming in. They love to. We've got a very viewer-centric, lovely audience here that loves to respond. That was fantastic from Maureen watching, and fantastic from Willie watching in Holland live right now, where it's it's after 1 a.m. It's almost 20 to 2 a.m. She's a diehard. It's the second show of the day for Willie in the Netherlands. Jennifer Berry in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Jen is Irish Zen Sláinte. She's loving it as well. Kathleen Walker says, very nice. She's in New York City watching. Bernadette says, great song. Really loving it as well. That's really cool. I mean, it's a unique sound that is so fresh and tying in, like I said in the introduction, to the ancient roots, but has sort of the new music twist to it, right?
Yeah, I wrote that piece that you heard there, and that's a traditional Irish tune then that I kind of wove in through the middle of the song, and it's called Night Travels. It was the title track of an album that came out in 2013, I think.
Yeah.
But we close a lot of shows with that piece because people love that one, because it's got like that kind of sing-along chorus, you know, like I try and do that sort of thing where I'll use these traditional elements like the tune, but then I'll have like a really poppy chorus that you can sing along with, you know. So, and that's not, unless it's kind of a come all ye more drinking type song, you don't see that as much, you know, in the ballad world, because there's not going to be a chorus there. It's just going to be like a flowing story. So I use the ballad structure on that to tell the story, and then use the chorus to sort of tie it all together, and then have the traditional tune, which is called the musical priest, go through it and kind of, you know, pull all these elements together and give it a lot of energy, because my band likes to play fast, and they like high energy stuff. And so I feel very fortunate that they also are so sensitive to, you know, the more quiet and flowing pieces that I write, and give that a lot of gentle attention, you know, at the same time. So I'm lucky.
You are, yeah, surrounding yourself with some great musicians too. There's another great song here that we have a clip for. Is this Lorem Ipsum?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that one.
So that's an interesting one. So that's off the new album. And there's a great guitar player that you ought to get on the show sometime, because he's a great chatter and interviewer and player. And his name's Shane Hennessy. And he is definitely the big, like, upcoming thing right now out of Ireland. And I had done a couple festivals where I saw Shane, and I'd hosted like a writer's circle at one of the festivals also, and Shane was part of he came in and was part of it, and I was really impressed with him, and not only just his musicality, but also his nature and the way that he treated people, you know, and the audience. And I watched him sit there for 20 minutes talking through something after a long show with some guy who had a guitar question. Shane is just like a virtuoso guitar player. But we wanted to host some guests on the album. We had 6 featured guests that came on. And so Shane was one of them. And so I said, you know, let's co-write something together so that we kind of follow this theme of it being original material. So he sent me 4 what you would call stems of songs. So the ideas of songs with maybe some lyrics not completed. And so I kind of was going through them one day, and I got to this one that said Lorem Ipsum. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, because part of my degree, my first degree, was in Latin. And so, but I knew Lorem Ipsum Dolor Sit Emet actually was a placeholder for, you know, copywriters or for people who are doing IT stuff, you know. And so it's dummy Latin text that you put in a space so that so there's not like a blank sheet when a publicist, say, is waiting for, a publisher is waiting for, the actual text that's going to fill that space. And I had also was a copywriter out of college too. So I had like an intimate connection with this, right? But so Shane had written it from the stance of he had a girlfriend that he just wasn't connecting with ever. And everything she said was just like this, with him. So he said basically it might as well have been like lorem ipsum. But you see, I knew kind of a deeper meaning of it because of my Latin background, that lorem was actually a contraction from dolorem, right? And ipsum, so meaning pain itself. And so I said, why don't we rewrite this? This is a great idea, but let's write it from the stance of, I left you all of this space to give back to me what I've given to you, but all you left me instead was dolorem ipsum, pain itself, right? Yeah. So we just wrote it, and the band had just an amazing time with that one. And Shane played on it and sang on it with me. And I guess is the clip of Shane and me doing it together? Or?
Yes. Yeah. The split screen sort of thing is really cool. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. That's a great preface to this video. And I think everybody's going to enjoy it. It's another winner. Here it is, everybody. Lorem ipsum coming your way. You learned a new word today on the Jim Master Show.
Lesson for the day.
And it's also another world premiere, everybody. Behind her is the start of her new closet. And you're seeing it before the clothes go in.
Exactly.
That's it. Here we go, folks. Enjoy. I've got to get that album. And that's what everybody else is saying. There's just a real, one of the other things I was thinking about, and just listening to that again, because I was listening to that the last couple of days and a bunch of your other material. There's just there's this rhythmic quality, but there's a warmth and a texture and a depth to it. That is smooth as silk, if that makes any sense. It has like a little edging of the pop, a little edging of a folk, but it's so stylistically done in a silky, buttery, sort of very attractive way that pulls you in. I mean, his playing, your voice, butter. your voice is really spectacular. It's just really... there's so much heart and there's soul you can hear in the depth and the tonality of your voice. And I know you're all in when you do it. But if you've heard that before, there's just a wonderful sensation you get in listening to the music that you're putting out, because there's a warmth, there's a depth to it. It's got the rhythmic nature. It's got, the moving vibe, but there's just a silkiness, a softness to it that is really, really hard to master, but you've mastered it.
Thanks. Just years of singing and, kind of really understanding what your sound is. And
how do you define what your sound is? I love to ask the artists themselves, because everybody will define your sound for you. But how do you define the Ashley Davis band sound and Ashley Davis's sound?
I think you hit on something for sure there when you said like it's really smooth. Like we do have a very smooth, kind of slick sound, and I don't mean that in like a cheesy way, but we like things to be really tight, very clean. And my producer, Gowan Matthews, is just an amazing instrumentalist and just has that same sensibility as I do. And so we really click on that. And so basically anybody who sort of comes into our world, it's sort of going to be directed that way. And it makes sense because my singing style is also very smooth too, so it helps to have, that basically kind of warmth surrounding it. And we wanted to have that vibe, you know, to be just very cool, very laid back, very, I don't know, just clean. And so that you're taken on this journey and you're not really jolted out of the journey at any point, you know? So it's like you're part of, you get on the bus with us, you know, and you get to just kind of lay back and just move forward with us through and not have, you know, something go, oh God, what was that? You know, sort of thing.
Right. That's exactly it. You're on that bus and it's like a smooth ride the whole time. There isn't that, throw you out of your seat moment. It's just really smooth and it wants you, you want more, like you want more of the ride. You want to hear more. You want to feel more. That's exactly the way you're describing it, is exactly how I'm getting it and listening to it. There is a clarity to it, and there is an articulation and a concise nature, but it isn't also at the same time rigid and boxed in.
You're right.
It's flowing and natural, but yet it has this constant forward movement. From a mechanical standpoint, from a musical standpoint, how do you describe what that is, what that technique actually is to be able to do that?
Man, I have no idea. Really good players.
Yeah.
You know, really good players and a producer who really understands my sensibility. And so Gowan, who's out in the Bay Area, who's done almost all of my albums, he would know, you know, he would just be like, no, like if a part came in, he'd be like, Ashley is not going to go for that, you know, because he just knows what I am attracted to and what I want to hear around me. So we do a lot of the arranging together. And I'll say, you know, why don't we put some like soft guitar pads around this? Let's try that out, you know, and let's try maybe some really cool mandola kind of in the background, you know, with a lot of reverb on it. So it's got like a really kind of big hall texture. And so we just have these kind of conversations and we try stuff and we dump stuff and add more stuff. And, you know, there's just signature things that I do too, that, you know, people would expect to hear, like some vocal layering from me where I would, you know, sing in unison with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I feel like now that there's just sort of a sound that you would start to associate probably with me in the band, and know, you know, from the first few bars that it's probably one of ours, because, you know, you wouldn't listen to that song and be like, oh, this is a Celtic artist.
No, not at all. No.
But yet, you know, after I did the electronic album, and I had no idea how my fans would react to that. I hoped that they would just like it because it was my writing and my voice. And what I made sure of was that everything going on in that electronic album, which was done by one person and me, Gowan did all the programming, and then me, is that everything was lush and beautiful and big behind me, you know, so it was the same ride again, just different instrumentation, you know, going on behind me. And I had no one go, why on earth did you do that album? Because it was still within the same spirit of what I've always tried to bring forward, you know, so.
Yeah. It's quality. I mean, you could tell it's from a technical standpoint, it just has such a high level sound in terms of the production of it. You know what I mean? It just sounds like every dime has been invested in the quality control in a big way. And it just has that feeling that is, again, not always easy to master, but you guys certainly have. So you've surrounded yourself with some great folks. And of course, it all starts with you and your vision and what your whole message really is. What is part of your message? Is it the unity of people? Is it spreading love? Is it kindness? What would you say when you listen to a lot of your own music? Is there a central theme or two in it?
Yeah, I would say love, definitely. And I had a journalist actually say something to me recently off this last album that I really appreciated. She had been a fan of my stuff for a number of years now, and she said to me, you talk about heartache and heartbreak, quite a bit, but you also show us how to get out of it, how to heal from it within your music. And that was such a massive compliment to me. I loved that because, as I said to you at the beginning, that's what I hope to do, is to help people get to a better place if they're hurting, if they're sick. We've all been through various walks of life and various challenges, and I'm really aware of that. And I'm also aware that I've just, since I was a kid, I had a sense that I was put on this earth to help people and to try and use my gifts that I was given in a way to utilize that, to do that, to help people. So definitely my overall message and thing I write about the most is love. And I have to tap into my own story, and I use other people's stories and I mush them all together. And I listen to people a lot who come to me and talk to me about things and rework their story to be able to write it into a song, anonymously, obviously.
How does growing up in Kansas add to that? Like you said, a lot of the folks who have any sort of Celtic or Irish or any like even trace of those flavors generally are folks who either grew up in very Irish dominant areas of Boston or New York or Chicago or whatever, or the UK, Ireland, Scotland, perhaps. And in Kansas, how does living there and having the sensibilities of the Midwest also beautifully contribute and almost match and add to what you're doing? So many artists that I've heard in Ireland and that I know personally always talk about the music that comes out of places like Nashville and the South and the Midwest. And they talk a lot about country music too. And this love affair that exists between Ireland and some of this Americana style music and the blending of those two worlds. And you almost have the best of both worlds, having the understanding of the Irish, the Celtic, and all of that, but then being there, in the Midwest and having those sensibilities and the nuances that you add to your music just because it's within, your blood, it's who you are. So how does growing up where you've grown up there added to all of that?
I think I understood this more after I moved to Nashville. And what I realized, and I even did a little bit of research about it too. And what I realized was that when you grow up on the plains, on the Great Plains, you have this limitless sensibility about life, that sort of no frontier, no fences, no boundaries for yourself, and that your abilities are limitless as long as you don't limit yourself. And so, and I've seen this even in like business studies, like sociological, about how Midwesterners really thrive kind of wherever they go. And they don't really like to be kind of boxed in any way. And that's certainly me. And it was certainly me coming into this genre. As I said to you early on, it was like I didn't have to really follow any rules because I wasn't, coming in with a pedigree or a certain, last name that I had to, go a certain way with, or I didn't care. I just was sort of like, I'm going to do what I want and I'm going to play what I want and I'm going to have things come out the way that I want because that's my vision, and my vision continues to grow and expand with what I want to do. And, I'm always grateful that I came from out here and that I came from people who had to go through quite a bit so that I could sit here and have a chat with you this evening, in the sense of their immigration story and having to work the land and make it through the Dust Bowl out here. And, my grandmother on my dad's side would be a Dust Bowl survivor, and just having all of that in my DNA, and just like you, as my great aunt who lived to be 108 would always say, you just can't flop down. And that means you just continue with your vision all the time, even if you aren't accepted for it, if you are criticized for it, if you don't make as much money as other people for it, it's still what's true. And the other thing, something that you said about like how that plays into maybe me writing about love and that sort of thing, that also goes under the category of I don't care what other people say about it, because the Irish have a hard time speaking in the first person about love and heartache. And you did this, sort of thing to me. It's always sort of colored around in a more pastoral way, because it's like, oh, don't be too, and they make fun of me on stage all the time about this. My band does, and like, oh, there's Ashley being gushy again and being too emotional again and that sort of thing.
I know. I know what you're talking about, because people have said I'm always, and I've caught myself doing it. I say we much more than I say I. Everything is we, and people say, even when the credit is supposed to be mine, I've actually had people say to me, stop doing that. It wasn't we, it was you. You accomplished that. You did that. I said, right. Yeah, but I still like the we, the team, the group, all of us sharing in it. I'm trying to go from we to I, but I'm having a we problem. But you get it. It's sort of that, right? That's an interesting thing that you say there, because
and also just like really owning, in a piece of music, your pain or your emotions, and being very naked that way.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've said to colleagues of mine, like, oh man, you should write about that. And I would never, and they'd be like, I would never write about that and sing that, on stage. I'm like, why not? It's your story. It's like, no, that's in the laundry basket. That's not, out on the stage, sort of thing. So, I was always like, it was funny because like whenever I dated guys within the Irish music world who, wrote and did that sort of thing, I was always like, where's my love song? Like, where's the song gushing about me? Like, that's, it's like, no, you're not getting that. Like, so I had to write all the songs.
You had to write your own stuff. That's it. Well, they say self-love is very important, right?
Meaning about them. I was only writing the love songs.
About
that.
That is funny.
So I guess basically, being from out here too is just sort of giving me the license to just say what I want and write about what I want. And, just again, that no frontiers mentality of like, I don't have restrictions. I don't have some guidebook I'm following. I don't have some traditional family that I grew up in or whatever. I've been heavily influenced by a ton of my colleagues who do have that pedigree and do come from that. And I love them and admire them, but I'm not kidding myself that I come from any of that kind of a background. I am completely like this self-formed anomaly that, happened out here in the middle of the prairie. And so, which goes with my family background, sort of this self-grown thing. Like when they first came out here and had to create a life and work the land. And
where'd they come from originally?
One side came from Germany and the other side came from Ireland. And then they end up marrying. So the Germans and the Irish join with my great-grandparents. Yeah.
Cool lineage. Yeah, that's really cool.
You'll see that combination a lot in Kansas.
In Kansas, the German Irish.
Yeah, a lot. And then the Scandinavian. And I gave my parents the DNA, thing for Christmas last year, like selfishly, because I just wanted to figure out like what my breakdown was. And even though my great grandparents would have been German speaking on my dad's side, it came out almost like I thought dad was going to be pretty significantly German, but it came out really heavy Scandinavian, and which was interesting, because my whole life traveling in international airports, or even when I'm in New York, which I am quite a bit because that's where my mom lives, people do not think I am American. They do not think I am from America. I get spoken to in every Scandinavian language
They
there
think you're from Sweden or
is.
Finnish or
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Yes, and all the time in airports, when I'm in Dublin, constantly, because there's a lot of Norwegians who go visit Dublin, and they're always coming up to me asking for directions. But it's really funny in the United States because I'm like, in New York, and I'm saying, no, I was at the Buffalo airport, and the woman, TSA agent, said, "Do you speak English?" And I was like, "Yeah, very well. Like, first language here."
Yeah.
So it's great. It happens all the time to me. So when that came back on my dad's side, I was like, all right, now this makes a little bit more sense,
Yeah.
So,
So when is your all German album coming out?
oh man.
Or Scandinavian album?
Seriously, yeah.
Or even in Gaelic and Irish?
Well, I did do quite a bit of that for my master's.
Did you?
Yeah.
Spoke,
Yeah.
wow, that's cool. We have some fabulous photos here too from memory lane. We take a look at a couple of these and maybe you can tell us about some of them. Here's one right here. The group, huh?
There's Colin and Dave. So that's Colin Farrell and Dave Curley. And they are a huge part of the Ashley Davis Band. That was us a year ago in Milford, Connecticut, right after a show.
Oh, Milford. Where were you in Milford? At the Performing Arts Center there?
At their Irish club.
Yeah. They have the big Irish festival. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were there, and that was just right after the show. And Colin and I then took a train back to New York, and Dave went somewhere. I can't remember, to visit some relatives or something. Dave's from Galway, and Colin is from Manchester in England with Irish parents.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm like that too. English on my father's side. English on my father's side. The masters are English, Yorkshire, and then they settled in New York. And my father's mother's side is Irish, and they came from Ireland to New York. And then my mother's side's English, Swedish, and French. So I do have the Scandinavian in there.
Cool.
But the thing about me is they all think of Italian or Greek or Latin.
Yeah, I would have guessed Italian.
Italian. And I say, but no, I'm Irish. My sister has blonde hair. I have cousins that look like you. And my sister has the blonde hair, blue eyes. And well, I have relatives, cousins with, red hair and freckles and all the traditional.
Cool. That's me this summer, trying to figure out. So I was telling you earlier that I had a camera that was going throughout the day as I was recording this album, because I was by myself, doing this in my bedroom, and it would just take pictures randomly through the day. And this was me obviously trying to figure out some track in my overalls there, and probably listening back, I would guess, with that photo.
It almost looks like you're saying to the laptop, are you kidding me? We've been through this all day. Are you going to continue doing this to me? I need a good Wi-Fi signal, and I need it now.
Yeah. It caught a great one of me basically with my head down, just like giving up at some point.
It's funny. It's funny. Here's another cool one.
Oh, that's us. So there's Colin again, and right beside me, and then Will McMorrin right in front. That's us at Cleveland Irish Fest last summer. Not this last summer, obviously, but 2019. And that's a really fun festival. Oh, that's Beauregard.
Beauregard, what a great name.
He came with the name, and that's the bedroom where we were working. And he always just wanted to be in the room with me when I was writing or recording.
Yeah.
And he's just a baby. He's only one.
Wow.
Yeah, 90 pounds now.
What kind of dog is he?
So he's part red tick coonhound, part St. Bernard.
Oh, wow. Wow. What a great combo.
Yeah,
And
beautiful.
so that's Beauregard. And what is the name of the guitar? Do you name your instruments?
I don't actually name him. That's my Taylor that's sitting there. That's my road guitar that I tour with.
How many different guitars do you have, Ashley? And can you play a lot of different instruments?
I play a little bit of piano. I mean, guitar would be my main. I started on violin when I was 4.
So did I. Violin was first, right?
Suzuki, yeah. And then, which I'm glad for because it really trained my ear. But
yes,
I stopped that when I was like 13, and then I moved to guitar, and that became my main instrument. And I have 3 guitars. I have 2. I have a parlor that I just kind of leave out in the studio. He is so cute. Thanks, Bernadette.
yeah.
And I was hoping he would actually come up here, but
they love when that happens.
The whole 3rd floor thing is like a bit of a mystery to Bo. We call him Bo for short. But and he's not wanting to come up. So
yeah, it's all new, right? The paint needs to be drier, I guess, right?
I guess, yeah. But I was hoping he would. I even brought one of his beds up so he'd come hang out with us. But yeah, there's me trying to really figure things out that day.
My God, you look very Scandinavian there. You look 9 feet tall. That closet looks like it's tiny, like a dollhouse. The door.
Sometimes I would just like
standing on something.
Yeah, I'm standing on a stool that I would usually be sitting on, and I was just trying to. Sometimes I would just move my angle to get a different perspective, on something if I was trying to figure something out. I was probably writing at that point, would be my guess. Same outfit that day. So yeah, I got sheets in my hand. So I was probably finishing a song. And that's late night. That's me about to pass out with very, very COVID hair. Those bangs had not been cut in months. And just, that's a very good depiction of what I would look like at about 1 every single night, trying to sort out 8 million tracks and get them off to San Francisco. And because, while I'm recording, all the other boys are recording too and sending stuff. And then I would have to get their stuff. And then the producer wanted it in a different format than how they were sending. So I'm downloading, uploading, and recording, my own things. So it was very much a conveyor belt system. Done,
It's amazing. Like, a lot of people, like we were talking about before we went live in the air, are recording in their house and they're using their rooms, their closets, whatever they have. And you've made good use out of that closet in those pictures, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'll always have that memory of doing it. It was the producer, just Gowan, who had worked with for years. And he said, just go into your closet because that's going to be the most contained within the sound. So we'll be able to get a really good sound from you, because he wants it as dead as possible. A lot of people are like, well, what are the acoustics in the room? They must be really good. And you don't want good acoustics. You want dead, so that he's getting the purest of what your actual sound is, not manipulated by anything in the room. And he described it to me the best way. So like, here's my mic, right? And right now you can hear I'm in a really live room. And so if I'm singing, then that can bounce off the walls and come into the mic from other angles too. So when Gowan is getting my files, it's not just my pure sound, it's also whatever echoed off these walls back into the mic. So he doesn't want that. He wants it to be really dead. So this space behind me that will become my new recording area, we'll put probably like those kind of foam egg crate things along the wall there, so that everything just stays dead and gets soaked up into the foam stuff instead of bouncing back into the microphone. So that'll be treated, soon.
What was on that floor before? Was that just an empty floor, or was it an attic?
It was like, as far as I can tell, so it was 2 rooms. You'd walk up the stairs there, and you would see, you would basically have a closet in front of you, and then a door that would face out to this area. That's the front of the house. And then a door that would face back to this area that you could go around the corner too. And there was like a sink and plumbing and everything, no toilet. And so we basically determined that it was like a bachelor's, an old bachelor's apartment up here or something, because it was just sort of like a simple flat that it seemed to be like maybe it was rented or something at one point, like way back, but hadn't been used in quite some time. And so I just immediately, when I saw the house, I had the vision. I was like, that's going to be the new studio space for sure. So
that's really cool. That's really cool. What's the style of the house? Is there a certain style to it?
I don't, to me, it's like a kind of a traditional American farmhouse, even though it's in town. It's got, the very quintessential American front porch, like a large front porch with the railings and a swing. And then, you go into like a big foyer with like gorgeous, like wood bookshelves built in and like a bench to take off your boots and that sort of thing. And then like a huge dining room and living room, and just kind of keeps going back. I guess they're A-frames. I'm not sure what their, technical term is. I'm not very good with those, but
but you know what the eight chord is.
Right. So, but I kind of call it like, it's like what you'd see in the movies, like for a typical farmhouse, just with a bunch of pasture around it, because it's got the big front porch and the
Wizard of Oz.
No, I think Dorothy had like I feel like they were in like a bungalow or something like
NDM. Have you ever experienced a tornado?
Oh yeah.
You have?
Yeah, sure. I grew up here.
I was gonna say I have. No, we haven't here, although there was one that actually came through, as rare as it was this summer, which is very rare up here.
Oh, I remember that.
Huh?
Best friends from Long Island.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been.
She's from Northport.
That's where my brother-in-law is from, and my nephew is right now. Yeah, right there on the North Shore. Absolutely, absolutely. Tell us about that fantastic guitar that you have there with you.
This is the Taylor that you saw on the bed with Bo, and this mic out of the way. So this was given to me when I was 19. It was my first Christmas back from Belmont, I think. And I'll try to move this down a little bit. It's got a really, really nice sound and really pretty action. So action is like how far the strings essentially are from the fretboard, this being the fretboard. And this one's like really smooth, so it's easy to press down on the strings, and you're not having to like grind your hands to make pretty sounds essentially.
You wanted to play something for us and share a song?
Sure.
What would you like to share?
I think I'll do one, since we've been talking about it, that I wrote. Is the title track of the electronic album. And at the very end of that album, the album's called Burning Down. At the end of the album, there is the same song, which is Burning Down. That's the first track. There's an acoustic version on it where all the boys do come in and actually play it. And so it's how I originally wrote it. But I wrote the song off of the idea, each year the farmers out here, they burn their land. So they clear the land so that new crops can come up and regenerate, freshly through the fresh soil. And so I started to think about that as a human being, and how we as humans go through burning downs throughout our life all the time, like big ones like deaths in the family or illness or divorce, a job loss. Those are, kind of a big burning down things that we have to regenerate from, that we have to rebound every reed that you can think of. And
this year has been a big version of that.
Yeah, this year is a massive burning down. And then, little burning downs like bad haircuts and things like that, so I wrote this piece from that perspective. And it's one of my favorite pieces I've ever written. So
Fantastic.
this is Burning Down. I have no goal. I have no title. No land to call my own. But yet I fight the Queen's battles with these soldiers made of bones. Oh, and he just sang to me, come what may. But I know the stars are all burned out that way. The walls are coming down, the flames are all around. There's arrows in the air, there's embers in my hair. I cannot see the ground, my feet they make no sound. I hold on to my heart, 'cause I know this part, I'm burning down. I've seen his fields, I've seen his rivers that I want to call my own. The nights are long, this war drags on, but his heart is all I know. And these silver strands I buried in my hair are the rivers that will guide me back to him. The walls are coming down, the flames are all around. There's arrows in the air, there's embers in my hair. I cannot see the ground, my feet they make no sound. And I hold on to my heart, 'cause I know this part. The walls are coming down, the flames are all around. I see us everywhere, this heart in which we share. So hold on to me now, 'cause I can see the ground. Listen to your heart, 'cause you know this part, we're burning down.
That's really beautiful. Very, very nice. That is really, really beautiful. Comments coming in too, also in agreement from our lovely viewers here, also loving it. When you're performing, what's happening to you? Do you get, you're all in, aren't you? I mean, I get that when you're performing, not that you block out everything else that's going on, but you're deeply feeling the song and the message and the music that you're sharing, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I have to constantly remind myself that other people are there. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I get so deep in that I have to go, oh wow, wait, you're playing for people right now. Because I get just sucked in, to
You're not in the closet.
no, I was very aware of that, and that's exactly right, that I'm definitely all in, and I'm not thinking about like who's watching, who's, you know, what's going on the other side. It's just like I just kind of fold into the song.
One thing that's good about that, or there's several things actually that are actually good, is that that means you're focused on the song, that any of the other things that people normally would get hung up on, what are people going to think? What are they going to say? Are they, visually critiquing me? Are they critiquing what my hair looks like, what my voice sounds like, what I'm wearing, or what's happening? And you sort of can block that out because you're so focused on the task at hand and the song and the delivery of the song and the performance of the song, that some of those things that other people tend to get hung up on and even blocked by, you, not even in a purposeful way, it's just an automatic pilot way for you, can sort of block some of those things out, which gives a better performance, I think, because you're not nervous in the way that some people would be, fearful, or again hung up on all those other things that swirl around.
Well, and you know, if you think about it from what we've talked about, is that my number one goal is to relax people so that they can heal and that they can transcend somewhere else. And so there's nothing sort of more uncomfortable than watching somebody who is deathly aware that they're performing, or they're nervous, or because then that's going to communicate through the piece too, you know, instead of it being a constant flow of energy that can just kind of go out there and smooth the surface, you know. If you don't have that sort of energy flow, then nobody else gets to relax either, because they're like, oh, why is she nervous? Why is she on edge? Why is she fumbling? So I'm always really aware when I don't have sort of that zone, you know, if I don't, it really jolts me when I don't have that zone.
So would you say it really reflects, when people are listening to your music, it's really reflecting who you are? You tend to be more of a calmer presence, even maybe in chaos. I mean, people have said the same thing about me when I've walked into radio stations and TV studios, and everybody is, the place is on fire, and then I come in and I'm calming and reassuring. I end up lifting them up and maybe throw in a couple of quick-witted lines or something, and I'm, all of a sudden they're relaxed and their blood pressures are lowering just because I sort of showed up. I didn't really have to do anything, too nutty in order to make it happen. Just the presence, the aura, whatever. And I find that with you, just listening to the texture and quality of your voice and the way you present yourself, that you do have a calming presence that is translated beautifully into your work. Would you say that's reflective of who you are, even when you're not performing? Tend to be more of a even keel, not that you are 24/7, none of us can be. If somebody's gonna, cut us off on the highway, we might respond a little bit, but but generally you're more even keel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My father describes me as if she were any more relaxed, she'd be unconscious. So I am definitely that person too, that just is sort of the calm one, and the crazier or more escalated people get around me, the more I get calm too.
Is that not amazing? Because I am
very strange mechanism.
I am exactly the same way. Like, for example, I've always said I don't really love or crave, like surprises and emergencies and chaos. And I, pretty much live, and I've gotten easier with it. And I don't do it as much as I used to, but I sort of live like working to prevent things before they happen. So when they do happen, they're not as crazy and dramatic as they would be if I neglected whatever the issue is. So what's interesting is, with all of that, for somebody who doesn't really love surprise or love emergencies or love chaos, I'm always drawn in. Either people call me into it to help them through it, or I end up running into it, even though I don't like it. I run into it because it's like an automatic pilot. I want to douse those flames. I want to put it out. I want to take care of everything for everybody, and inspire them, lift them up, and make it better for them. So for somebody who doesn't love those scenarios, I've been in situations where people have had a heart attack in front of me, and people have fallen down, and where everybody else is panicking, screaming, yelling, flipping out, freezing in place. And I'm like, boy, gee, if we all do that, nothing will get done. Nobody will call an ambulance. Nobody will do. So I shut myself off. I shut my emotion off during those urgent times, roll up the sleeves, and I dive in towards the fire, which is interesting to me because I'm somebody who's always trying to prevent the fire. And then now here's the fire and I'm running towards the darn thing. So, like you just said, the more chaotic and crazy and nutty it becomes, I'm actually drawn to it because I think that's where I really excel. Because everybody else is flipping out and everybody else is like, I don't know what to do. And oh my God, I know the world's ending. And I'm like, you know, like I say at the end of this show to everybody, just relax, just relax, just breathe through the diaphragm. And you should do the same way. And I bet because of that, because people know you are the calm one, you're the reassuring one, you probably get called on a lot in your life to care for others, take care of others, and sort of comfort and reassure others. And that could even be bandmates. It could be other people, that might be going through a rough time or things are frenetic for them, huh?
Oh, definitely. And um, I believe that we all, we all come into this world vibrating at different frequencies. And I came out vibrating at a frequency that, and I know this is true because animals and small kids and strangely mentally ill people are often just want to be beside me.
I cannot believe you just said that.
Why is that true for you too?
That's the exact group. And
Yeah.
also people who have social phobia, who aren't
Yeah.
comfortable, and
Yep.
seniors, older
Yeah.
people feel very comforted. And as far as animals, I've been in situations where we've gone into a house with friends because another friend has invited us over, and there'll be a dog there. And I'll walk in, and the other friends will walk in with me to this other friend's house, and the dog will be growling or staying away from the other friends or barking or whatever, but I'll go sit on the couch and that dog will end up in my lap licking my face.
Yeah.
Or a child will be in a shopping cart. There was this one child I remember vividly, this cute little infant that's in this cart, and I'm behind the mother in the line at the supermarket, and the mother's looking forward and she's getting frustrated because the kid's crying and screaming and very unhappy. And whatever she's doing, it's just not connecting with the kid. It's just not working. And then I hear that. So I'm hearing in my mind somebody in need of something to quell that screaming and crying. So I'm right behind the mother and I'm sort of peeking behind the mother, looking at the cart and looking at the infant, the little toddler in that cart. And then all of a sudden, that infant locks eyes with me. I lock eyes with the infant. Never do I ever have a situation, which you would figure most kids would have, of the kid getting scared or screaming or crying or making even more of a fuss. If anything, for some reason, without me even saying a word, the kid suddenly calms, gets very, very centered, and even starts giggling and laughing and feeling like they're safe and comfortable or what have you. And then the mother will look to the kid and say, what just happened? How come you're laughing now? And questioning what just occurred on the flip of a dime like that. And I'll go back behind the mother.
Yeah.
And then the kid will start fussing again. And then I'll go back out and the kid will be like, and it's happened so many times. And there's energy and there's auras and there is all this stuff that I've learned more about as time's gone on. I'm a Libra, so we're balance and harmony. And
Well, I was about to say that. I was thinking to myself that you're always trying to balance a situation. That's what you're attracted to doing, is balancing the energy that's off,
right.
Whereas I'm an Aquarian, but I also am a Reiki practitioner. So
Yes, you are. Yeah.
yeah. So I really kind of stand back and study energies, and feel them. And if somebody wants it, to be brought kind of more into a harmony or a center, I was given that gift, and so I can help them out with that.
But your music is part of that too. Your music and the way you've chosen to present your music is very calming, reassuring, uplifting, healing, as rhythmic and fun and jovial as it can be as well. The deeper underlining of it is a reflection of you and this wanting to connect with people and comfort people. I picked that energy up immediately as soon as I heard the music.
That's great.
Immediately I picked that up. I said, this is music that really makes people feel good. It isn't just a one-hit wonder. It isn't stuff that's just pumped out there for the sake of pumping out music. It delivers so much more than just even the sound as well. And maybe again, I've heard people say that I operate from some sort of a higher consciousness or a high level empath, very intuitive, all those things. So maybe I'm hearing little nuances that maybe somebody else isn't hearing, but I think overall that's the vibe. That's the vibe that people are picking up, which is why they're attracted to, your music.
I hope so. That's the best kind of, note or letter that I can get, is that you helped me get through a hard time, or you helped me heal this thing I wasn't able to let go of, or, and so it's been really, I went to Thailand last year for a month to study with this amazing healer when I was kind of in between tours. And I just I had November off. Well, I did like one festival and I hopped on a plane and got back in time to tour with Lunasa right after I got back. And it was just incredible because I just had that whole time to really just focus on exactly what we're talking about. Nobody even knew I was a musician there. I was a totally anonymous American, and the only American who was at this center essentially, and just studying beside this woman who was an incredible healer, empath, everything, and just really clicked with her. She was German, which is kind of funny, and a lot of people they were crying because they found her too harsh and whatever. And I was like, from the Midwest, I was like, she's not harsh. Boss me around. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I don't want any of the BS, just
right.
tell me. And and we formed a really good bond, and I learned an incredible amount from her. And I treated about 30 people or so by the time COVID came around.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I was really starting to really understand it, really understand also kind of my method too, and how I would treat people. I was getting into a really good vibe of how to go about it and to help people with their energies. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'll use this space too for treatment up here. So it'll be cool. It'll be, somebody here saying, soothing music and that sort of thing. Yeah, we want to feel good when we can hear music. If it triggers a good memory, even better. Yeah, exactly. And I was having a chat with somebody recently who's had some surgeries, and I said, I could do some Reiki for you. And he said, oh, it just was, it made me feel really sick the last time that somebody did a Reiki treatment on me. And I was like, you're not going to feel sick if I do a Reiki treatment on you. You might cry, but it's all about, I always talk about boxes, that we all have these boxes in us that are memory holders. And we have the stuff that we really tend to keep in boxes is the bad stuff, right? The memories we don't want to have, or loss, or sad things that we haven't processed yet. And those kind of get trapped within our nervous system, and so that's what causes depression and anxiety and all those sort of things. And so opening up those boxes and releasing that and getting everything flowing in you again like a river is just so incredibly healthy to do. And it sounds like you're a natural antenna also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I pick it up and it
What's interesting about Long Island, there's a lot of psychics from Long Island.
I noticed that. Yeah, I
You guys have a
noticed.
lot of like activity out there.
Is it being surrounded by the water, the energy of the ocean, maybe, or something? Who knows? Because the ocean is actually one of my Zen places. I really get in touch with the ocean. I really respect the ocean greatly. So yeah, I think that it's making more sense the more I'm hearing you speak and share about why I picked up immediately. You know, I was listening to the sounds and the rhythms and the melody and all of the rest, but and the wording and the content and the message of your music. But there is this whole other thing that comes out of your music that I think is really cool stuff. And I picked that energy up immediately when I first heard it. And that's why I was articulating that in the beginning of the show, because it was just the sensibility that's sort of there. And you have the clarity sort of with it, which I think is so perfect. So that blend of all that is just absolutely cool. And it stands out because you don't always hear that in a lot of other music these days. You're not even hearing a lot of real instruments in music these days.
Yeah.
And you're surrounding yourself with real good musicianship, which I think is really, really cool. Did you want to share another song? Speaking of musicianship, did you want to share another song with us?
Sure. Happy to. This is one off of the new album. The new album's called When the Stars Went Out. And this is a love song off of it. It's the last track on the album. It's called Here by My Side. For someone to love you, it'll tear you to pieces. Whoa, it'll break down your fences. And your world falls apart. And the ships, they come and go, and not one holds you. But I know that I see you at night. All my dreams are awake, and my sleep never stays. 'Cause if I had you here by my side, well, I wouldn't waste any time. I'd hold you real close, I'd hold you forever. When I first saw you, well, I knew you were mine. And now, well, I can't find you. But you live in these lines. For the heart that you once knew now has gone away, letting go to find a new way. Oh, to hold you today, these words that remain. Hey, 'cause if I had you here by my side, well, I wouldn't waste any time. I hold you real close, I'd hold you forever. Well, I'm farther along now than I ever was. Well, can you hear me calling to you now, my love? shifting of the sands now that scares you? Are the tides that bringing you home? Whoa, know this today, my heart does remain. Hey, 'cause if I had you here by my side, well, I wouldn't waste this time. I hold you real close, I'd hold you forever. Yes, if I had you here by my side, well, I wouldn't waste any time. I'd hold you real close, I'd hold you forever.
That is really beautiful. That is really, when you wrote that, what were you thinking about? What was going through your mind when you penned that beautiful song?
Well, it's a co-write that I wrote with John Doyle, who's a colleague from the world also, and I had written that piece years ago, fragments of the piece, kind of like what I was talking about with Shane Hennessy, and so I had kind of lyric ideas and certain melody parts of that, like that pre-chorus part I had written, and then the verse part of that I had written, but I didn't have like a chorus melody. And John and I were writing together quite a bit during that time. And I sent it over to him and I said, can you think of anything to kind of, pull this all together? And he kind of came up with the angle of, that love is, when you do actually find like the one, it can be just devastating, in the sense of it's all here now, but it's not here, and trying to hold on to it, and maybe it's far away and that sort of a thing. And but that if we did get to be together, then it would be, everything would be fine. It's sort of that old sensibility of, if that person's by your side, then everything's okay. And if that person's not by your side, then life is more difficult. And we tried to capture that in that piece.
That is really beautiful. Really, they're really making some nice comments here. Do you have another song you want to share with us, whether it's a holiday song or anything else from the album or anything? We're really enjoying this.
This is one that is off my Christmas album. And it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek one that I wrote, kind of from that 40s feel. This was when I was actually visiting my grandfather quite a bit, and at the end of his days in his retirement home, and so I was pulling out a lot of those old pieces and relearning them. And so I was pretty influenced at the time of doing the Christmas album. John and I did a Christmas album together called the Christmas Sessions. And he had an original piece on there and I had one, and then the rest were like standards. And so this was the one that I contributed, and I called it Light My Tree.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's Christmas. Well, actually, I'm going to do that here. It's Christmas, come on over. Well, baby, come and sit with me. Yeah, it's Christmas, why do I miss you? Well, baby, come and remind me. Oh, you're not answering me. You're holding back, it's easy to see. It's Christmas, come on over, and you can help me light my tree. It's Christmas, I have a present, well, here up on my shelf. Yeah, it's Christmas, come on over, it won't unwrap itself. The Santa's not stopping here So come on now, the coast is clear. It's Christmas, come on over. You can help me light my tree. Well, jingle, jingle, sleigh bells ring. Let's dash away tonight. I heard the angels sing when you kissed me on that night. Well, beneath the shining moon, you wrapped me in the snow. Won't you come see me soon? I have some mistletoe. It's Christmas, my list is simple. Baby, it's not a ring. Yeah, it's Christmas, come on over. I only want one thing, whoa, you to come over here, so I can have some Christmas cheer. It's Christmas, come on over. You can help me light my tree. You can help me light my tree. Well, come and help me light my tree.
Really cool. I love that one, Ashley. Really, really fantastic. Toes tapping, very beautiful, meaningful, beautiful. Claps, claps, claps. Catalina, New York City. Really, really nice stuff here. The album. So you have the Christmas album. Where can people find that?
Christmas albums on iTunes. I mean, if you're trying to download, I don't think we didn't stream that one because we actually wanted people to buy it. And it's called the Christmas Sessions, and under my name and John's name's on it too. And if they want to buy the physical, you can go to my website, ashleydavisband.com, or you can go to CD Baby. They also have the Christmas Sessions on that one.
What are some of the other songs that are on that album?
A lot of the hits. So like I'll Be Home for Christmas, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Winter Wonderland, Let It Snow, Silent Night, O Come, O Come Emmanuel, the Wexford Carol for the Irish side. Yeah, lots of the hits, with 12 tracks, I think, on that one.
They've been loving the Christmas lately here on the show. Did you want to do one more of Christmas maybe from the album to give them a little tease?
Let me think. So I have a Christmas album and a winter album.
Oh, a winter album too, huh?
Yeah. So the winter album is like one that I wrote to be for any, so it's totally secular, but it was seasonal. So you could come from any spirituality, religious background and have it on during the season. This is when I was living in New York City. I wrote this album because I was feeling bad because it was Christmas music all the time. And, you know, people are out there celebrating Hanukkah and bombarded all the time with Christmas music. And so I wanted to write an album that everybody could buy and play all the time. So
nice.
It's kind of it's a very, well, a lot of people use it as also an album to put their kids to bed because it's like
sort of lullaby-ish.
Totally smooth and flowing and atmospheric and really pretty. So
perfect for these times and these crazy times.
So I'll do this one's called Silence of Snow. Snow has come and the leaves have fallen. The nights are standing still. Snow is gone and the streams are frozen. This fire's light the hills. As the snow falls down, as the snow falls down. Embers blaze and cups are shining, and laughter fills the hall. As dancing takes to moonlit gardens where fires light the hills, as the snow falls down, as the snow falls down. A book is closed, a poem read. Well, our love, it was true. The lamp burns low, and the evening whispers. Well, I remember you. As the snow falls down, as the snow falls down, as the snow falls down, 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 down. Down, 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 down.
That is really fantastic. That really is very soothing and calming, and you can almost envision the snow. Has a music video or anything been attached to that? Because you can almost see these really beautiful scenic visualizations with that song.
Yeah, I ought to do some for that album because it is a very visual album. I really tried to write with a ton of imagery for that album. It's one of my favorite albums for sure, and it definitely just really gives everybody a nice calm feel, you know.
I'm a very visual person, so I was already visualizing some of this as I'm hearing the song, and that's really, really cool stuff. There's another comment coming in here, I think. So serene to listen to as well, which is, and Jennifer was jamming on her tambourine with you.
That's nice.
Toe tapping as well, which is really, really cool. What are some of the things that inspire you in your life? Are you an observer of life, somebody who really soaks up a lot of the little simplicities of life and add that into your music? What are some of the things that you observe that inspire you to write this really incredible music that actually, again, isn't the stuff that's written just to be commercialized or any of that? There's a purpose and a depth and a warmth behind all of what we're hearing tonight.
Absolutely observer. You know, I really listen to people and feel deeply. I'm empathic, you know, so I feel what they're feeling pretty instantly. And I'm an avid reader. So those are the two things that I'm really inspired most by, is just listening to people and taking in their stories and understanding them, or trying to. And then I do just a lot of reading, and I take a lot of notes. And sometimes also when I'm listening to music, it will give me an idea of, but I don't listen to much music. you know.
If you do, I was going to ask, if you do, what is the kind of music that you choose to listen to that really speaks to you?
Older music. I tend to, check that out. I don't listen to a whole lot of contemporary stuff. I listen to what my colleagues are doing and what they're putting out, and that's very inspiring all the time. It's cool to see what directions they're taking, and
Do you listen to instrumental as well as vocal?
yeah, definitely.
Me too. Yeah.
And I'm really into vinyl, so I collect
Yeah.
a lot of vinyl, and
I have a climate controlled storage unit we pay monthly for that has tons of, well, it has all my career stuff, my television work and everything else that you don't want to ever have in a fire and a flood. So that's in the climate controlled unit, but sealed LPs and reel to reel and cassette tapes and tons of music. Still have the turntable, still have the big speakers. See, I like music as opposed to jamming it, and it could be generational maybe, but as opposed to jamming it in my ear and having like these tiny little buds and the music going forcibly into my ear, I actually prefer the music bouncing off the walls and surrounding me, like filling the room, filling the house. And sometimes, and I mentioned this to a couple of people and they're like, oh, I get that. Sometimes they even like when the music, instead of coming at me, I like when it comes from behind me and comes over me, sort of washes over me. It's not as direct. It's just sort of like cloud-like. It's sort of just coming from anywhere and sort of filling the room. And that sort of fuller sound I really, really like. And there is, as simplistic as your music is in certain elements, it has a fullness to it that I've noticed, which I think is extraordinary too.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's what, I think if it's going to get to somebody, it's got to have that fullness, production wise too, and that's
Still have your turntable and double cassette deck?
I have a double cassette deck, turntable. Victrola is making one now that's a turntable with a cassette deck in the back of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's a beautiful piece also to look at. It's like Victrola did this amazing design. So that's pretty cool. So I've got that right now in the living room.
Is there any venue that is a dream venue where you would love to play? It could be in the United States. It could be anywhere, around the world that really is on your list.
Oh, I don't think about that much, but I mean, probably, somewhere like Carnegie,
Yeah.
Play Carnegie Hall and just because I love New York so much. And so that would be, Grand Ole Opry. That would be amazing too.
It's another good one. Yeah. Royal Albert Hall.
The Ryman. Yeah.
Yeah. Sydney Opera House. Absolutely. What about duets? Folks that are out there doing their thing that you would like to, you'd love to do a duet with of some sort?
I kind of did that on this album. I got to, on When the Stars Went Out, because I got to work with like my big hero, who's Sean Colvin, and, asked her to do a duet with me on this album. And she luckily said yes. And so that was a big moment for me to get to do that. I kind of, when I see somebody doing something that I like, I'll approach them, and I'm just not afraid of rejection. So like, what's the worst they can say is no, or I don't like music, whatever. I've heard it all, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Well, your music really is something quite special, Ashley. And so you do the music and you do the Reiki as well. You balance, or is music really the dominance of what's going on for you now?
Oh yeah, definitely the dominance of what's going on, especially, after COVID, but I'm hoping during this downtime that I can go study again abroad. I'm hoping to maybe, in February or something like that, while I'm still off the road, February or March, and go get my master's in Reiki, go ahead and get the highest level of it and study under the same teacher. But it just kind of depends on Thailand opening up. And, I mean, I know she would get me in and sponsor me and whatever, but if things aren't good over there, it's just not very smart, because if I got sick over there, it'd be tough.
Absolutely. So do you have sort of your own practice when, and obviously with COVID, it's a different world, but where people come to you in a setting, or do you go to them? How does that work with the Reiki for you? Some people I know have an office, or some go to the person, whatever it may be.
Well, this space that has recently been created will be both, be my studio, creative space, reading space, but Reiki space too, yoga space, all of it. That's why it's great and big and open. So I'll bring people up here to treat them, because I can treat people anywhere, and I've done it on the road before. But this is a really good space to do it. I mean, if I'm going to be in town, when I'm in town, just because I've got the energy controlled in this room. If I go into somebody else's space, then I'm fine. I can center myself and whatever. But I feel like if they're moved out of their energy space into a different space, then they're going to be more receptive to the healing. And then they get to kind of walk back out into the open again as a different person, instead of like out of their own bedroom or house into the same situation. They get to go back into the situation as reconfigured, essentially.
Exactly right. Exactly right. What are you hoping for the coming new year with everything? And what are some things perhaps that maybe you've learned even about yourself in this past unprecedented, unusual year we've all sort of gone through and experienced individually and collectively? And how will it, or has it impacted your music as well?
I think it probably positively impacted my music, in the sense that my band got to really come together and huddle around each other and do something quite extraordinary, within those 5 months that we put the album together. And we did it thoughtfully and with a lot of heart. It was not something that was slapped together quickly. It was done with a lot of patience and a lot of thought. And I think that the thing that I've had to, I don't know if it's relearn or maybe learn, is that I can't really have anxiety about what's happening in the future, and to let go of that. And whereas before I would always be thinking about like, well, what festival am I going to be playing? What, how am I going to fill this time with this tour or doing whatever? And I saw the people, I learned the most actually from the people, my colleagues that are constantly booking themselves. You know what I mean? They're home like maybe a quarter of the year, and they're constantly booking themselves on the road. And I never really understood that, except for having a discomfort with sitting still. And that's what I always looked at those people and thought to myself, like, this person isn't rearranging their life to make this work stationary at home. And so when I saw those people finally get really grounded, I was fascinated to see how that would go, and whether they would immediately start booking themselves as much as they could, let's say from, 21 through 22 on, or whether they'd go, you know what, I need to reconfigure here. I need to, rethink things. And so it made me really pull back and say, I really like being able to not have that anxiety of, constantly be thinking about being on the road, and not having that contemplative time to grow myself, and to not feel frenetic, and not feel like I'm dumping out a suitcase to do laundry, to repack this suitcase sort of thing. And to understand that the time that we have here is just it can be slow, and that's okay. And that to really, be looking out for and trying to use what you've been given to be compassionate to others and to help others, and that should be, if that was on the forefront of everybody's mind, think of how different this world would be. It really would be, if it wasn't like people thinking about, well, what can I do? What can I do? And pushing ourselves out of that. And I think that this time gave us a lot of that reflection, but I'm really curious to see
if it's going to last.
Exactly, because I'm already seeing
I know
some of the people that I'm even, was like kind of watching going,
are they going
to book themselves out the second it opens, or are they going to go, no, I really found a new space and a new vibration and a new jam for myself, and I want to keep that.
Being more empathetic, kinder, less divisive, more collaborative, listening to one another.
Yeah, because I think that all goes with it. I think that all goes, like, if you're in that rat race of constantly moving and constantly doing, you can't be, because you're trying to catch up with yourself constantly,
and be number one.
I know, and so I think that, we have to make a living, obviously, so there is that aspect of it, but this time I hope has shown people how to diversify and how to take other aspects of their talent, or to work more from home where they might have, kids or people that they're trying to spend time with, to actually to do that, and rearrange things so that they can. But, it's honestly to each his own. And that's the other thing I've let go of is thinking that everybody will kind of come around, because I think that some people don't change. I'm coming that from even a holistic.
Are we related? Because it's like, I think somehow there's lineage, because a lot of what I'm hearing tonight, I'm hearing like, it's like a mirror.
It's like an echo.
I'm hearing myself. And we're both in creative areas where we connect, and we, a lot of what we do is a representation of who we are and how we deliver it and everything. But I hear an echo. Yeah, it's a great echo. I wish everybody else heard the echo, but I'm hearing a real echo here. And a lot of what you're saying, I've said that constantly. I said, gee, I've already seen, even if you just say there's a vaccine or whatever, all of a sudden everybody's like, okay, done. Not quite. There's no done yet. There's no done. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, let's get it together here. Let's not elongate things to, I'm somebody, like I said, I'm somebody who likes to prevent problems before they happen and work through them. And let's get this done, because let's work on it in a collaborative, unifying way, whatever it is in life, because tomorrow the thing that happens could be twice as big or monumental or worse. So let's see if we can work together on this thing and not let everything sort of mount. And a lot of people, they do the mounting, and then all of a sudden, when the chips fall, they panic and scramble, and that's when they knock on this door all the time. I said, but I told you that if we just did it this way, maybe it wouldn't have happened. Or it's an interesting thing, isn't it?
It is.
It's an interesting thing. You don't say I told you so, but I did mention it earlier.
Yeah.
I never say I told you so, but I do say I actually did mention that and offered that opportunity a little bit earlier. And now look, we're in a boat that's sinking. And we don't have a life raft. You forgot the life rafts. I packed them. It's like, are you... It sounds to me like underneath all of this, and again, you can hear a little bit in the music, but in a very positive way. You have some, and again, it's not, I know our society sometimes looks at it now in this day and age like it's a weakness, or it's too Pollyanna, or it's too Hollywood or whatever, to be, I think it's a cool thing, and wish it would come back, a little idealistic about life, meaning you're seeing the good, you take the lemons and turn them into lemonades. You wake up hopeful that maybe people will be friendly and things will be nice, and people do the right thing or whatever it is. You're sort of living with some idealism underneath it in a positive way. Not that it doesn't backfire and you don't get shafted, but I think there's nothing wrong with daydreaming and imagining and fantasizing and having some idealism a little bit out there, because that's the balance to what you just said, that frenetic, got to be number one, got to be the best, got to have the Bluetooth here and 17 cell phones attached to me and the phone's ringing, the fax is going off, got to get to the email in this hole, got to go get them, win them, slay the dragon, let's kick their butts and everything, constant. If you live 24/7 that way, eventually that's going to catch up. And you don't have time to daydream or fantasize, which can be very creative when you're fantasizing and daydreaming. And a lot of creativity is born out of that, and some idealistic way of thinking. A lot of creativity, film, music, television, whatever, art, is born out of some of that way of thinking, as opposed to everything being just so cut and dry and raw and all real all the time and in your face. That was long-winded, but it was effective. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. And I think that it comes from that feeling of that I have for people that everybody is innately good. And it's strange when I meet people, I have this strange vision of seeing their full potential. But what I've learned is that there's a lot of people who are afraid of, their full potential, or, people are very afraid of change, and don't really know how to do it, and to just get out there and just do it. And whether it's a small aspect of who they are, or, a major life change, that sort of thing. Because I don't subscribe to the belief that people can't change. I'm around a lot of healers who, work in this world, who say, by the time they're, let's say, 42, they're cooked or whatever, and they're not changing. There's nothing. And I do not subscribe to that belief. I believe that anybody can change if they want to. And that is the key. It's not that they can't, it's they have to want to. And they have to walk through fire to do it. They have to overcome fears to do it. They have to push through a bottleneck, to do it. And it takes sacrifice, depending on what it is that they want to do, whether it's, quitting smoking or changing their life in a significant way, or whatever it is. There has to be a desire with follow through, and that's the equation that I've discovered, at least. So.
Yeah, it all comes full circle. It definitely comes full circle. And again, I think I have a lot of friends that used to work in the corporate world, and they were making a gazillion dollars a minute on Wall Street and corporations and everything else. And now a lot of them are massage therapists, and they'll say to me, Jim, I had to get away from what I was doing before, because I felt like they felt maybe like they sold out, or they didn't like the way the company was going, or the things they were asked to do. It just wasn't, in the beginning when they were younger, maybe going in there and the money and the corporate job and everything was appealing. But then the true version of themselves was fighting that and rising, and was winning over to where they had to step from that, and even step from some of that money to now be doing things that connect more deeply with people.
Yeah.
And that's cool, and that's a risk when people do that, but you got to live your calling, right?
You do. And if you are pushing that voice away and not listening to it, they're not going to work out for you.
No, no, you'll be bitter later on in life saying, no, why didn't I do
Or
me?
you'll keep running from yourself. You will keep running from
Running
yourself.
from yourself. And a lot of people, they've been saying this year, they've been reevaluating everything about their lives, their relationships, their relation with family, friendships, their jobs. Have I been doing a job that's been really serving my purpose, or has it just been really living somebody else's dream with them and for them? And there's been a lot of that going on. So this is really a cool time for people to sort of pivot and take advantage of some of the opportunity. As horrific as everything has been that we're witnessing almost every day, there are there are nuggets of opportunity here to come out of this more, understanding of one another, more empathetic, and more less divisive, more cohesive. Because everybody was saying we're all the nice people. We're before all this, everybody was complaining. Where's all the friendly people? Where's all the civil, respectful people? Where'd they all go? Well, now we have an opportunity to bring some of that back. I said it to Darren Holden when he was on. He was like, spot on. I agree. And a lot of the artists and people that have been on the show, I said, I think it was what happened this year is a meeting of the divine, the earth, and Mother Nature coming together and saying, enough. You humans have been taking these gifts of this earth, this planet of life, and really fouling it up. And you're at each other's throats and you're just making things worse. Like, we're going to pause. We're going to throw a few major things at you and see how you come out of it. Are
Yeah.
you going to be worse for it, or are you going to be better for it? And we've seen a lot of worse, but we're seeing a lot of better too. And there are people out there who want to make a difference. And I hope that we come out of this, rise from these ashes, again, more understanding, maybe loving, collaborative, and less divisive, and coming together and listening to great artists like you who have a message in the music. As attractive as the music is in sound, there's a message behind all of it.
Yeah. Well, I hope so too. I mean, I definitely do. There's tons of beautiful people out there. And the ones who aren't acting beautiful have the ability to act beautiful, I mean, so I hope we come out of this time in a much more peaceful state, I really do.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll keep fighting that good fight, Davis.
Thank you.
That's it, right? If folks want to connect more with you, and I couldn't see why at all they wouldn't after tonight, and just a little sprinkling of your music and conversation and how you got started and all these cool things, and there's great comments from our viewers around the world. Tell us about some of the places where they can find your music.
The best place I think to go is my website, ashleydavisband.com. And the new album is right on the front page there, so it'll take you. I have that one in vinyl, which is cool. And then I've got some like holiday packages up right now that are some combinations. You can even get like your Ashley starter set, which are all my albums in one like lower price. And I would say that, but if you're off of physical product, then I would say go to iTunes and you can find all my albums there. And you can write to me through my website, and it's got, different information about me. And I'll often post newsletters and that sort of thing. And I have a music page on Facebook too. This just Ashley Davis, that if you want to follow me on that, I post music stuff, but I also post, like Reiki stuff and lunar cycle stuff and all that. So it's a kind of an interesting place to go because you'll see more than just music being shared there from me.
Ashley, I enjoyed the chat and the music. Please stay safe and stay well. Happy holidays to you and yours from Bernadette. Maureen says, some people are so busy making a living that they don't take time to experience the beauty of living as well. Yeah. Jennifer asks, she's into a lot of this. Ashley, what is your favorite Zen crystal? Hers is amethyst, which is her birthstone.
I'm a big amethyst fan because that's my birthstone, obviously, too, because I'm an Aquarian. I'm February 2nd. I love rose quartz also. For some reason, that's cool. I find carnelian very powerful. Be careful when you're carrying that in your pocket, what you're going to attract to. Yeah, but I'd probably say I'm most attracted to like rose quartz because it's just such a general stone that you can use for a lot of things.
Mm.
But I love amethyst. I have an amethyst around here somewhere at the moment. I think down in the kitchen that'll move up here eventually. But yeah, that's my favorite.
Kathleen in New York City watching says, great music. Thanks, Ashley, and stay safe.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Ashley, this really was cool. Would you believe we've been chatting for almost 2.5 hours?
Amazing.
It doesn't feel like that, does it?
When I looked up and I saw that, I was like, I actually looked at my phone because I was like, wait, is the time difference different or something like that? You know, like was Darren's segment included in this?
Right. It's just like the marathon or exactly. Yeah, no, it's and every single guest says that it doesn't feel like it to them because it's just so conversational, you know?
Yeah, it's super. I appreciate you having me on, and I hope we get to chat again.
Absolutely. I'm, a big believer in your mission and music. I can't wait to get the CDs and get the material and rotating in the library here.
I'll get you some vinyl, the new one.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And what's cool about that is there's a whole generation discovering all of that, and they love the warmth and the depth of the sound because digital has its purpose, of course, but sometimes it's just listening to. I've been whipping out cassettes and listening to all these hours of cassettes that I've made, and there's just something about it that sounds a little bit different. There's a warmth, there's a depth to it that really comes through, and are you pretty much staying put, you and the family, for the holidays there, not really traveling or?
Mom flew in from New York, so she's downstairs probably tapping her fingers and toes going, when is dinner and wine going to start here, Ashley?
Well, if she's from New York, she's like, okay.
She's definitely down there going, is it 1 o'clock yet?
Now she's from Kansas and went to New York?
She raised me here with my dad. They divorced when I was like 25 or so, and she moved to New York for a job, and then he stayed here, remarried. I'll see them probably outside, my dad and his wife, for like a drink or something on Christmas Eve Day, and then Mom will be here. She's here for like a month, so she's done that a few times in COVID, where she flies in and parks herself, she gets tested and everything, quarantines and then gets tested. And
it's probably better that, she's there because I think New York is on the verge of like another shutdown and all of that. And they've been good. They've been doing the masks. They've been doing the different things, but it's just got to get through these few months here, the winter weather and everything, got to get through it all. And so is your mother the New Yorker? Would you say her personality is faster and yeah.
Definitely. Like, can't sit still.
So she's there to get
until cocktail hour, just go.
So are you gonna do any Reiki on her?
She's definitely downstairs cleaning something right now as you and I are chatting.
Oh, my sister does that too. My sister, you can clean your house and she will re-clean it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So she's going to be calm by the time she leaves you, your mother.
Yeah. Yeah. We have really different energies, and, she just goes all day, and then like finally she'll sit down and like have a drink, and then she just stops, but I'm just sort of like, I just sort of float through the day,
Exactly. Yeah. Your blood pressure is probably very good.
It is.
And your heart's in the right place, my friend, and so is your soul. And we really appreciate all the time you've given us. Literally now it is 2.5 hours, and the door will always be open. The porch light will always be on. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed your time with me, as I certainly have with you, Ashley. This was really cool.
I absolutely did. Thank you for giving me a fun Saturday night.
Oh, my pleasure. And I hope you enjoyed the lovities and all the interaction.
Thank you for inviting me into your, what do you call it? The Levity Hall?
They call it the Levity Hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good place to be. If you're ever, things are getting too crazy for you, as calm as you are, you're always welcome back here. And let's stay connected. Keep me posted on all the cool things you're doing. I'm glad we've been able to connect here, and best of the holidays, best of health, everything for you and your family, and for the coming new year. And we will definitely chat again soon, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thanks for all the great music too.
Thanks.
Have a good holiday.
Bye, Jim. Happy holidays.
You too. Ashley Davis, is she not amazing? You got a chance to either rediscover an artist that you already knew about, or maybe learn a little bit more about her, or perhaps this was the first time you learned about Ashley. She's extraordinary, isn't she? Real calming force. And again, you can see in just her delivery that she's a very calming person. Her music's outstanding. And if you haven't had a chance to really hear it in full, I encourage you to go to the website, ashleydavisband.com, and pick up some of the music, make a great gift as well. There's the website, ashleydavisband.com. Thanks for all the great comments, everybody, as well, too. And Ashley got a chance to really see them as we were chatting. She played several songs live, including a few Christmas hits. We had phenomenal videos we shared as well, which was awesome. Inspiring conversation, entertainment, and all the cool stuff we do here on our show. Great music. Thanks, Ashley. Stay safe. You too, Kathleen, as well. Bernadette says, Ashley, I enjoyed the chat and music. Please stay safe, stay well. Happy holidays to you and yours. And Maureen says, Merry Christmas to you and your family, Ashley. Thank you for a very special evening of meaningful conversation and music. That is cool, folks. That's what we're all about here on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Good vibes, good conversation, inspiration, positivity with everything we do here in the almost 40 weeks since we launched this show as part of my professional work, or an extension of my professional work in television and radio. Don't forget to relax, as we always do say at the end of the show. Relax, breathe, take care of yourself, love yourself as well as love one another, and relax. And believe me, once in a while, I do have to remind myself of that too. So relax. A couple of other things too I just want to show you. Good night, Jim. It was a good day here in Liberty Hall. Good night, everyone. I know I've been chatting on the air since 3 o'clock this afternoon when Darren Holden was on. I don't think I'm going to talk the rest of the night. Have a great night, Jim. Good night, all. You too, Kathleen, in New York City as well. Just want to show you, we have 2 shows tomorrow. This is like a whirlwind weekend here. 2 shows tomorrow. And tomorrow, Orla Fallon, who was in... she was in Celtic Woman, and she's a brilliant harpist and musician and singer-songwriter. There she is. Orla Fallon is going to be here. She's going to play live from Ireland, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. GMT. She is extraordinary. She's award-winning. And again, she used to be with Celtic Woman, and she's going to be here tomorrow live. Then tomorrow night, so Orla's here at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, and England. That's GMT. Then more music coming your way as award-winning, Emmy-winning singer and songwriter and performer, Michael Landra. Just Google him. You'll see all the incredible things he's been involved in. Michael Landra is going to be with us tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And on Monday, Luke McMaster is going to be here, contemporary soul and so much more, live from Canada. He's a very popular Canadian singer and songwriter, Luke McMaster, and he's going to be here on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We thank very much Ashley Davis for joining us live from Kansas. Really terrific episode today. Really good conversation and so much more. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And we also thank earlier today Darren Holden, live from Ireland, who was with us as well. And we thank all of you. We'll be here tomorrow in the afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern. Yes, Orla is amazing. You guys are going to love her on the show. She's all excited. She's going to perform live for us as well. And thank you once again for bringing us together here in Liberty Hall. Have a restful evening. Thank you, Maureen, for being here. I really appreciate that. And everybody watching on our YouTube channel. You guys are the best. We have wonderful fans and viewers here in our growing Lovity audience. And I just think it's truly amazing. We love all of you. We thank you for the tagging, the sharing, the spreading the word. We realize that we all have busy lives, especially at holiday time. And I know not everybody can be here every single day, especially when we're doing 6 shows in a weekend. Boom, 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 boom. However, they're all available in our archives. You can watch them on demand. At your leisure at Jim Masters TV, and enjoy them. If you missed anything, want to see this episode again, it's right here on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. If you have a busy day and you can't catch one of our live shows, even though I know you guys love it live, so you can participate and you can be active, feel free to watch live or watch on demand in the archives. You folks are the best. Truly mean that. And we'll keep doing this series, the Jim Masters Show Live, into the new year and beyond, as long as you guys are here and we continue to grow and we have a good time together. It is a warm, cool, fun place. And I like the way all of this has turned out and the way it continues to grow. Really busy around here putting all these shows together and balancing it with my professional work. But it really is a blessing, especially holiday time too. We've had some really phenomenal episodes lately, haven't we? Where we've gotten to the core about life. We've had great entertainment and we have a lot of levity, bringing all of you fine folks into the mix here and have loved doing it. George Burns loved it as well. Your cast of characters here. And of course, Silver from Switzerland. Silver had a good time. I know you guys love the characters. And Gilligan also had a fantastic time. He says goodnight. Lin the panda is over there. Got to get Lin over here one of these days soon. Jeannie is in her bottle. She says goodnight. She'll see you tomorrow. And Orla Fallon is here. Try to say Orla Fallon 5 times fast. With the L's. She's brilliant. I met her years ago when she was with Celtic Woman. It's going to be nice to, reunite with her again tomorrow on the show. And Jimmy says goodnight as well. There's Jimmy for you. I know you guys ask about these characters. So there's some of your cast of characters. And again, with the holidays, we say, may your days be merry and bright. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. We're going to do some pop-up shows with singing and stuff like that. We're going to be taking some time off after Monday. So, holiday time, and we have a lot of things we need to catch up on, and holiday time with the family. We love Christmas. So we're going to be taking some vacation time, but we will probably do a couple of pop-up shows, maybe some fun things, maybe some sing-alongs, all kinds of cool things during the Christmas to New Year time period, celebrating the holidays with all of you. But we will be taking some time off after Monday. So if you're not with us then a very Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah as well to those celebrating Hanukkah. A beautiful New Year. Again, we're here tomorrow for 2 shows. We're here on Monday. And then we're going to take a little time off. Look for us possibly doing some really cool surprise pop-up shows with some singing and food and holiday themes to wish you the best for the holidays as well. We'll announce those on the Facebook page at Jim Masters TV and also on YouTube. Gang, we're going to sign off. I'm going to stop talking before my voice gives out. Looking forward to the rest of the weekend shows. Thank you very much, Bernadette. You're a real trooper. You're here for like every show we do, and I really appreciate that. There's levities, and then there's really deep fan levities, and you are definitely one of them. And we salute you as well. Gang, thank you for your time this time. Till next time, your host, Jim Masters here. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share that smile. Don't forget to share the levity as well. Find your Zen place. Mine, of course, is with loving family and friends. Of course, the ocean. Growing up along the East Coast and the Northeast of the United States, the ocean is always a Zen place for me. Of course, my work in television and radio and broadcast media, on camera, on air, behind the scenes, the whole bit. Love it all. And all the things I've had an opportunity to do and the people I've worked with. Don't forget, Santa Claus is coming to town soon. Santa Claus is coming to town. That's right. And there he is, yours truly. And that was a very sinister laugh I just did. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, 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 ho. I should be doing ho, 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 ho. There's yours truly in New York City when I was master of ceremonies for a major Christmas concert. And then they asked me to also be the Santa Claus. And it was really cool, really fun. We've shown this a couple of times on our shows. Love it. There's nothing like wearing a Santa outfit because all of a sudden all the kids cling to you and then all the adults sort of sit up straight. And the naughty and nice things it becomes in effect, and suddenly they're nicer. If you put a Santa outfit on, suddenly people become a little nicer. I think maybe for 1 year, everybody should wear Santa outfits, and maybe the world would be a little bit nicer. And there we are there as well as Santa Claus. And in New York City, wishing you happy holidays. There's the tree in New York City, Rockefeller Plaza. If you didn't get a chance to see it this year, of course, with everything going on. Again, tomorrow, Orla Fallon, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. GMT on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Then tomorrow night, more incredible music with Emmy-winning singer and songwriter and performer, the incredible Michael Landra. He's had PBS specials and more. Then Monday, Canadian singer and songwriter, contemporary soul, R&B, and so much more. Luke McMaster is going to be here. In January, incredible international Greek tenor Mario Frangoulis is going to be here. He's had PBS specials. Nathan Carter is going to be here. Nathan, of course, English country music star. He just had a PBS special with Chloe Agnew, who we've had on the show as well. You can see over 200 episodes of the Jim Masters Show live in our archives on YouTube. So check that out. All right, gang. Oh, you didn't have to do that. Oh my God. Oh, Kathleen, I tell you, I need my Kathleen fix. I'm going to be calling you. I know I've said that. I've just been, I still owe calls to 5 or 6 people and a few emails. But we got to get together somehow, masks on or whatever, my friend. We got to get together. Miss you too as well. And all right, gang, we're going to sign off. Those of you that are hanging with us, you are the best, and love you all. You take care. You have a good night, a really good night. And once again, we're going to end with Aunt Mary.
Jim Masters, or should I say Mr. Lovity. I am so happy to have my debut on your show. And I just thought I'd prepared a nice little Christmas song for you and your Lovities in Lovity Hall. And I know how you're a fan of a cappella. And since I have perfect pitch, I thought this would be a perfect time to sing one of my favorite holiday songs. So I hope you enjoy it. Here goes. Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas. And when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know, and everyone you meet. Oh, ho, the mistletoe hung where you can see. Somebody waits for you, kiss her once for me. Have a holly jolly Christmas. And in case you didn't hear, oh, by golly, have a holly jolly Christmas this year. Have a holly jolly Christmas, Mr. Lovity, and all the Lovities. Thanks so much. Bye from Aunt Marion.
And from all of us at the Jim Masters Show Live, thank you to Aunt Marion, and thanks to all of you. Happy holidays, everybody. We love you all, and we toast all of you and you and you and you. That's a wrap. How many hours here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost 7 hours of the Jim Masters Show Live, except for like maybe 50 minutes in between the earlier show and this show to have a quick dinner and a quick change and everything. Almost 7 hours of entertainment, conversation, and broadcasts all for you, episodes for all of you. This is incredible. Somebody said I should put these shows in the Guinness Book of Records for online broadcasts because we've been going extensively. And if there is such a thing, maybe we should do that. But gang, from our beautiful festive set here at the Jim Masters Show Live, we say goodnight, and we love all of you, and we'll see you again. Good night, gang. You're the best. We'll see you tomorrow with Orla Fallon. It's going to be an amazing show. She's going to play. She's going to sing. She's all excited. And so she'll be live from Ireland, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Ireland, England, and Scotland. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being with us. 7 hours of the Jim Master Show live. Holy cow. This is like the Jerry Lewis Telethon. Good night. We love you all. Bye-bye.